Greetings and salutations, everybody. This is Matt, aka Slash, once again, and we're doing something a little bit different. Sort of in celebration of having reached 10, count them 10, you can count them because that's how many fingers you have, subscribers on my YouTube channel. I decided to go ahead and launch a new series that I had been thinking about doing, and a couple of people I know had suggested that maybe I wanted to do this. Where we are right now is my current single-player world. We are actually at Spawn right now, in the world that I have named Allegatia, after the world in the Aragon series of books, the Inheritance series, I think is what he calls it. I had just been finishing up, I think, the last book in that series whenever I created this world. So that can give you an idea of how old the world is. And here we are. This is the original spawn for the world. And I've built here a little nether portal to help shortcut me over to where I ended up making my home. When I started out in this world, I think I punched a couple of trees, came down here along the shore, and just followed the shore that direction. So, in fact, let's just do that again this time, and see if we can find my home from here, rather than popping into the nether. We'll go in the nether in a bit. We're going to do a world tour, show you all of the stuff that I have created so far. There's the house, and then we'll make this the premiere of the series, and future episodes we'll look into building new things. So I just followed the shore and dug in down here. I'll show you the house and whatnot in a second in better detail. Kind of ignoring most of the stuff. I want to go over it in more or less chronological order. So, I dug in here, made myself a little home, ended up digging down a mine shaft down in that direction, and then later, once I was all set up, I came up the side of the mountain and built this. This is more or less the way that it looked whenever I originally built it. I think I didn't have this enclosed in Wing initially. If I can find some pictures, some screenshots that I took back in the day, I might show some old screenshots. But this is it. This is the house. First floor here, didn't have a little bit of furnishings. And then basement. These nooks here were my old storage system. I had 3 stacks of double chests in here, and topped with glowstone so that you could actually open them, and so that it would light the room without having to use torches. The only thing I've still got is wheat, because I still have a farm out in that direction. Obligatory trash bin. Lava storage. The idea that I had for this area was that I would cart in, this was back whenever before I had gone to the end, which has a much easier source of obsidian than what I had before. But what I would do is I would cart buckets and buckets of lava up from the nether or from down in the mine shaft, and I would throw them all in here, and then I'd hit the button. Oh, hello? Oh, I'm holding shift, that's why it won't work. I'd hit the button. We're on 1.4.6 now, which I don't think we were the last video I recorded. So if you hold shift, you can't interact with things. But I'd press a button, water would pour over the lava, turn it into obsidian, I'd hit the button again, turn it off, go down and mine it. And the snow tray is very similar it was there for a very similar reason as to why I want to line the ice cube tray with snow, and that's the efficiency tools won't or the efficiency pickaxe anyway, won't interact with the snow. I don't think it would interact with dirt or other things nowadays. Since 1.4.6, they've changed how that works. And now I don't think it really matters too much as long as it's not something that a pickaxe would normally be used to break. Wood have been a bad idea with lava, but I don't think that would have been a problem. So, yes, as a result, I now have a diamond axe on my bar. I haven't crafted one on the server yet, but I will have to at the beginning of the next episode, probably. So anyway, yeah, that's where I put my lava. And we'll continue on here. Egg collection and melon farm. My original melon farm, we'll jump past the eggs here. My original melon farm was just pumpkins, just for lighting, and very, very tiny. But the idea is you would hit the button. There's one on each side. You could see the repeaters down there, but it would pop up pistons, which would knock the pumpkins off. You could just walk, collect them, and move right along. I have a better system now. This water stream comes from outside and is a method of collecting chicken eggs. And I will show you that when we head outside. So we got a little hatch access to the outside here. To my original farm. When I first set this up, it was before dispensers would release water sources. They would just spew out the water bucket, which was not particularly helpful. So I originally had a whole piston system up here with water sources suspended that would then flow down and flow across. And then I upgraded it once the new dispenser mechanic came out. And now it uses dispensers. Sun's going down. Let's take a quick snooze. And then we'll resume the tour in the morning. I liked placing the bed there because of being able to see the sunset as I went to sleep. That was a deliberate choice. You can hear, I'll run upstairs real quick. This is where the nether portal actually is. If you go to the one in spawn, you pop out in the nether the same place this one links to. But then if you go back through it, you come back out here. So it was a shortcut to get back to the house when this was my primary residence in my world. So this is my initial farm. I just had each of the animals separated out into their own pens. So I got my pigs, my cows, got my chickens in here in a typical water-based egg collection system. A bucket of water in each corner. A hole in the middle with a sign to prevent the water from flowing down through. When the chickens lay eggs, they flow to the middle, and then a water stream. Wow, that was perfectly timed. They laid one just as I was saying that. And that water stream flows down and around this way. Underneath here, actually, I think. And then over into the basement where I can collect the eggs over there. And then this was how I accessed the... None of the signs have... These signs are supposed to have things on them. The signs don't seem to be rendering their text. Anyway, this button would trigger the dispensers. It was a lever when it was a piston-based system. And it would flow just like on the server. Except the only thing I have planted over here is wheat, because this farm predates potatoes and carrots. Got a little patch of mycelium. I silk touched a block of mycelium off on a mushroom island off in that direction, quite some distance, I believe. And yeah, none of these signs are working. I placed it here for growing big mushrooms when I thought that the only thing that you could grow big mushrooms on was mycelium, but apparently that's not actually the case. Some mushrooms and bone meal here. Now let's grow one just to make the decor a little bit more interesting. So we'll just stick one right in the middle. Bone meal. Ta-da! Giant mushroom. I think the deal with giant mushrooms is that if you grow them on mycelium, it doesn't matter what the light level is. But the light level requirement is easy to fulfill on regular dirt, so it doesn't matter all that much. And my original sheep pen. I would dye them. I used to have them dyed at just all the different colors so that I could collect them all. But then at one point I thought I was going to be using a lot of white, so I dyed them all white. And then I haven't ended up using any of the white wool. Alright, next. I'm very excited in 1.4.6 that you can now throw certain enchantments on shears. I haven't done so yet, but I plan to. Alright, let's go to the giant me next. We'll get a better look at it from out in the water later, but I decided this is one of the projects I needed the sheep for. That it'd be fun to take my avatar, oops, and make a giant life-sized portion of it, which is, it's not 100% accurate. Oop, let me see if I can get any kind of perspective on it. No, too close. It's not 100% accurate. I think the hat is weird. But it's not too bad. And then you can actually access the interior for no good reason whatsoever, other than I think it's funny to be able to climb inside a giant statue of myself. Don't have a hatch or anything up here. You just have to break through the wool if you want to get out the top. Oh my gosh. There we go. And then I think I had this originally as glowstone and then went on a whole jack-o'-lantern kick, so I replaced it with jack-o'-lanterns. And the idea is that it serves as a beacon out to the ocean, looking out into the distance with wonder and awe and a palpable sense of having too much time on my hands. Let's see if I can't. I did not have ender pearls when I was over here originally. So it's kind of fun to be able to tour the area with ender pearls. Let's see if I can't manage to get to the lighthouse from here. That is going to hit a wall, and I'm going to fall to my death. Oh! Or I'm a boss. Zombies have knocked the door off. That's alright. So, I think you saw from the outside, the lighthouse lights actually, quote-unquote, rotate. They go on in a circular sequence around the top. I initially had done that with repeaters to keep a redstone signal going in perpetuity, but now I actually have a minecart that goes around, and do I have a good place to stand up? I don't. Let's see if I can swim up this stream a little bit. Excuse me. Not really. Back behind there, oop, oh. Hold on. Let me put this back on before I forget and eat before I ender pearl myself to death. You can't see it, unfortunately. There's underneath here where the minecart's going over there are detector rails. And the detector rails are linked to redstone signals that go to these torches, which then go up to toggle the power for the lamps. And then this water stream acts as an elevator so that I can get to the top. And make sure that everything's working. And also, when I was working on this, originally, when I had built this and I was using repeaters, the repeaters would get stuck very frequently. And so I'd come up here often to reset it. And I got sick of having to go all the way back down the steps, so I would just come up here to the top, and then I would just Geronimo off the edge. Which is a lot of fun. So I kept it. We'll go through the underwater walkway now. This was another project that was just born of, I don't really know what else to do with my time. But I wanted to be able to get to the lighthouse. That's all I did here? I need some adornment. Just a glowstone block hanging there on its own like that is boring as heck. But I decided I wanted a way to get to the lighthouse at night without having to deal with mobs. So I built this underwater glass passageway, which looks a lot better now that I'm using Optifine. Before I used Optifine and had the connected textures option on, of course you got the individual panes with all of the lines between them. It didn't give you a very good view, but now it actually looks really cool. It's fun revisiting some of my old builds here. I haven't been over here for any real length of time in, oh my gosh, months upon months probably. I set up a little skeleton spawner here long after I had other more efficient XP farms. I think I set it up primarily as a way to get bones and arrows, but it's not particularly efficient. I think you'd have to wait here for a while before they even started going. So I don't bother with it. It's set up and it never really got used. Although, obviously, it was set up long after I no longer cared about collecting coal. Let's head up. Actually, we'll go this way. This originally went down to a branch mine that I had down at the bedrock layer. And then when I got sick of it, I just stopped it and brought it up to the slime farm area. I discovered, I think mostly by accident, that this was a slime chunk. Hello, sir. Target practice. Oh, you got in the way. Oh, you got in the way too. Ah, forget it. There. Anyway, I think I discovered it by accident. It's possible I had used an external source for it too. I no longer remember. But I had set up this little slime farm area. I started digging it out. I realized that it intersected with the minecart track, so that's why there's a big, almost building in the middle of it. And I had also read on the wiki that you could put lines of fire down and that the slime balls had a very high probability of not actually going in the fire, so you could kill the slimes, get the slime balls, but they wouldn't burn up in the fire. But then I ended up just deciding to kill them manually, so. Alright, let's move along. Oops. This is, oh, for heaven's sakes, I'm a Butterfingers today. This minecart track was from before dispensers put the minecart right on the trail, so I would just leave them on the trail and hit a button to go. You'll see in, well, I don't know if you've seen in my SMP videos, my strategy has changed as far as that goes, but you'll see when we hit the nether next. I'm not going to head off in this direction, I don't think. I'll zoom in, though. This is where I get my sand from. And off in the distance a little bit further is the very first NPC village I ever found. And it consists of, I think, 2 buildings, and the NPCs all died the night that I found it. And it is now a completely barren village. So I really only ever go over there for sand. I'm not worried about the village at all. Let's take another nap quick, and then we'll pop into the nether and continue the tour there. No pigmen this time. The zombie pigmen spawning by portals rates seem to have decreased significantly since that was first introduced. So here's my original nether portal in the world. This is where it popped out. I found a nether fortress then and decked it out. And then after I got ender chests, I wanted to make sure I had ender chests all over the world. And I used to come out here to get my lava, which is why there are steps down here. I forget what's off in that direction that I had pillared across. But I had gone looking for something. Or maybe I had created a portal in somewhere else that I'd gotten to and was trying to find my way back. But that's pretty much abandoned now. But you can see where the flowing lava is down here. That's where I used to get my lava when I wanted to make obsidian. Now I just get it from the pillars in the end. When that runs out, I might go back to a lava-based system. But I don't need obsidian all that often, so I don't think that's ever going to run out in this single-player world. This track's been redesigned to use the dispenser system. Do I have another minecart? I don't want to take... Nope. I don't want to take... Didn't want to take the only one that I had at this end, but we'll redo it another time. I have upside down half slabs to keep zombie pigmen from walking onto the track, but upside down so that they're not blocking my view too much when I'm going through. And then anywhere as I was tunneling that it opened up to the nether somewhere, I put in some glass just to make it a little scenic as you went. One of my projects on my to-do list is to redo all of my nether rails to something a little prettier. This is just functional more than anything else. I think I'd try straightening it out some too. When I'm in the overworld, I like to try and follow the natural contours of the world, but when I'm here, I don't see that that's necessary in the nether. Let me pop this up into the ender chest instead. Alright, let's see, where should we go next? These signs aren't working. Alright, hang on, I'm gonna re-log in and see if that helps. There we go. I don't know what, I thought they had fixed that bug, but apparently it's back. So now, this used to say home, now it says farm. I found a mushroom island by cheating. Used a program called Amidst to find the coordinates of a mushroom farm. This is an incomplete track that heads off to it, but once I got that mycelium, I really didn't feel like there was any reason to head off that way anymore. Got a portal down this track that goes to the end, we'll check that out later. I think next we'll go over to the Nether Fortress. My original mob farm and enchanting area was over there. Blaze, in case you didn't know, give twice as much experience as the other mobs. So they're a good source. If you can set up some sort of grinder at a blaze spawner, they are a good source of XP. So that was my only real avenue for getting to maximum level for enchanting. And I think that at the time I set it up, it was already in the new, I think it was in the 1.3 realm where the maximum level was 30, like it is now. Although now that I'm saying that, I feel like I might have set it up initially whenever you wanted to get to level 50. And the enchanting system was completely different back in like 1.2 and earlier. Well, this is one of two now, I think, nether fortresses that I am aware of in the world. I forget exactly how to get to the other one. But this is the one that I've customized for my personal use, at least as far as the blaze farm goes. I may at some point investigate trying to find a part of this to optimize for harvesting wither skulls, because I have not done that yet. But over here I have, at the end of this bridge, there's a... Oh. Is there a blaze somewhere? Oh, there's a blaze up there on the bridge. Well, nuts to you, sir. This is the original blaze farm. Ugly as sin. All... This stuff broke again. Anyway. All cobblestone, just functional. And this is very similar to what I've got on the SMP server. The one on the SMP server is a little bit better designed and a little bit less crowded. And I didn't bother on their server. I don't have little access panels for the dispensers because you can just come in and do this. And apparently, a wither skeleton spawned in the blaze farm? Yeah, that's fun. Did I get anything good? No. Looting 3 sword, have yet to get a wither skull. But anyway, the idea is they hit pressure plates up here that trigger pistons that push them down sort of a funnel thing until they end up here. Poison potions in there. Oh my gosh, I have 3 diamond picks in here. Those should not be there. Harming potions in here. Those need to come back to my base. And you wait until they collect to a certain point. You can hit F3. The third line on the screen says E:, and then there's a number the number to the left of the slash is the number of entities you're looking at. And I think the number to the right is the number of entities the game is currently tracking in the loaded chunks. So you would wait for that to get up to a respectable number, and it would slowly increase. Generally, whenever I needed to level up, I would put it on, or come over here, let it on in the background, and watch a YouTube video or something while waiting for them to build up. Here we go. Drop these in here. I forgot I had that up there. So this is my original enchanting setup. Oh, it must have been from when it took 30 levels, because I have way more bookcases around it than I actually need. Because this would get me to 30 levels plus. And I think this one in the middle, yeah, it's a crafting table. And the rest of this is just ceiling. That was my original. And then I had this was it's supposed to be labeled lock. The idea here is so that as I was idling, zombie pigmen couldn't come down the steps and ruin my day. Which is even more relevant now with the wither skeletons, because they would ruin your day. For sure. Let's pop through this portal. This is my second portal. The idea that I had here... Oh, I have another wort farm. A lame one, but another wort farm nonetheless through here. I think actually this is my only nether wort farm in this world. I harvested so much and I brew so few potions that I don't think I've needed to have anything better than this. And this was set up before nether wort would grow in the overworld. But the idea behind this portal was, and this, I didn't have the, I keep getting sidetracked, I'm sorry if that's annoying, but I didn't have the ice here originally because you couldn't silk touch ice back in 1.2, I guess, is when that had broken. And it was around that time that I had built this. These are snow because the ice got melted by that light. But anyway, I built this portal thinking, oh, I'll establish a new base here, and then it'll be right next to the nether fortress, so it'll be super convenient. And I won't have to travel anymore. I can just pop into the nether portal when I need something, and we're in good shape. Well, I really don't like this area. This is a very wintry area. Did I leave anything good in these furnaces? Just coal. I didn't really like this area at all, and I'll show it off a little bit. Very basic farm there, just for... It's sort of a frontier base. I like my spiral staircase. I think this is inspired by the one Kurt has in the observatory on the Minecraft server. And I don't understand, or I don't remember, my motivation for having this sort of floating... You know, looking at it now, it reminds me of the elevated hidey holes in Farlands or Bust, but I don't think that was my thought process when I constructed it. I think I just wanted to feel like in this dome that I was floating in the midst of everything. And originally the dome was made out of brick, and then I replaced the brick with snow, and then where I could, I placed ice after I had... after they re-enabled silk touching of ice. I came by and dropped one of those off. There's a map of the general area. Well, let's take a look. Nothing particularly interesting, as you can see. Just a lot of snowy plain. You can see... I almost gestured at the screen. You can see down about the lower quarter in the center, there's a very harsh line, and it suddenly goes from being snowy to being very lush. And that's because some point after I had explored the immediate area around the base, but before I filled in the rest of the map, I updated to, I think it was 1.2 that added jungles. And so all of a sudden that area became a jungle biome, and no longer wintry or marshy or whatever the heck it was supposed to be. And so it was a very hard line. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's put this away. Let's go to sleep. And I think we'll call it here for this episode. We will resume the world tour with the next episode.